Okay, and this day part 2, self-test. Okie doker. Oh, yeah. Hearing the alarm go off is so startling. Okay. Previous videos uploaded. Sick. Alright, so we'll just do perplexity. Oh, good! Oh, nice. That's cool. Surely my stuff's not on there. Alright, so we'll do... Oh. Ofa. Alright. 89 right now? Oh my god. Alright. Or, oh yeah, I can continue the quiz from yesterday. Oh, and it did that. Write a program that reads integers. Yeah, I did that. Oh, I think I stayed after and then finished it. I didn't start something and then quit early. I finished it. Okay. Turn the fan on. It's too cold or too hot. Now the fucking sneeze-a-thon begins. Okay. Another quiz, please. Okay, what do we got? Anything cool? Ooh, nice. We got asserts going on. Nice. Okay, and it was a pro search. So what was the first? Really, the first pro search was the one earlier. Oh, this is the one that it said. Yeah, I don't know about that, buddy. Yeah, initialize it to the numeric limits. Oh hell no. Yeah, I don't know about that, buddy. Okay. Oh. All right. Yeah. So what happens if a C++ program doesn't contain main? An error where main is uncalled, unreached. I think. More specific, compiler. I don't know if throw is the right word. Yields an error. I think. Is it compiler level? Or is it like what happens if we just yeah, it's the linker. So it seems like something invokes main when I run the program. But main doesn't exist. Fuck, I forgot to put more water in. No, it's cutting into the time. Damn. Okay. So, what's happening is something is invoking main. Like when you start a program, You press an on switch, and it attempts to start the PC. So it sees, yo, there's some sort of declaration to start PC. But when I tried to start the PC, well, there wasn't anything to start. There was nothing. So, the answer is compiling yields a linker error because when you initiate a program, something apparently has a declaration to main, but it's unresolved. But the linker throws an unresolved error because the something sees main sees int main, but doesn't have a definite. But the linker can't find a definition for it. i.e., program doesn't run. No brain control center main to run it from. .cpp or C++. 3. Print your name and your favorite number. Okay, we could just say int name, int favorite number. Or we could get it, so we could make it make more sense. And I can only input the one file, so I'm not going to do multiple files here. Like, I can only copy and paste one thing. I'm not going to be like, copy and paste, yo, this is this header file. Yo, this is the CPP file. Yo, this is this. I mean, I could. We'll just do it here because it's the same shit. We need IO stream, need standard character input and standard character output. And we need to get a standard string, get username, oops, the function, duh, and then standard character output into your name, oops, cool, and then standard string username, standard get line, oops, we need string, include string, comes after because it's alphabetical order. Get line standard character input, oops, and we pass it to, or we extract it to standard white space because we want get line to ignore previous white spaces. So we are, it seems like extracting input from the buffer to see, or we're passing the input buffer to white space to see, hey, is this a white space? Oh, we're attempting to extract. Now I understand the input buffer better. Okay, I can explain. Excuse me. So, this is extraction. This is the extraction operator, which means we are, at least in the context of character input, this is the extraction operator. So, standard character input has something in the input buffer, and we are extracting it to standard white space. So, something is in here. Can it go in here? If it can, it probably does. It gets pulled out of the buffer. If it cannot, then it says, fuck off. There's no leading white space. Okie doke. And now we go on with the rest of the shit. So it basically removes the leading white space from this. That way, if we enter something before and we didn't handle extraneous input and we put in 2 space and then enter, we don't want the 2 to be extracted and then the space, we want that. We don't want the space to then be extracted to this get line and then the username is just a space. We want to ignore that and then get more shit and take the whole line, not just a space. So we go into an inline character, which is the \n character. Okay, and we extract to username. Or it stores it in username. So we basically pass it this. If this is successful, then continue with the get line shit, which apparently puts the input here, gets a whole line of input, and then puts it here. Whatever the hell get line does. And if not, then it does it anyway. But the point is that it does it. Something like that. Cool. And then return username. And in this case, it's expensive to copy this value, because we were saying, hey, somewhere there's a string. We get this value via this, and we copy it here. That's one copy, one assignment of a standard string. And then we return it. We return it somewhere else. That's another copy. Excuse me. So instead, it would make more sense to just copy this logic into the code and say, hey, here's a name, here's this, here's that. So anytime you call it, it's this code copy and pasted. So there's, sure, an assignment, but there's no extra part. There's no assign it to this variable, store it done. It's instead assign it to this variable, and then return it. It removes the returning. So, yeah, because calling this function means this has to return it. So, I think, well, you do it when the call is expensive, so when you're passing stuff to the function. But in this case, if we just create it, maybe, but then this just returns, maybe this is helpful. I'm doing it because it's not going to hurt it for now. But it will mean if I use get username in the same scope somewhere else in global scope. I'm going to get an error unless that one is also inline and is identical. Are you, dude? Fucking blow the nose and it shoots up through the dang tissue. So we'll say, I mean, we could save it, but I don't really care. We'll just output the, well, I mean, yeah, whatever. We'll just do that. Get username. Enter your name. What's up, somebody? Okay. And then we'll do int, what is it? Name and favorite, what? Favorite color? What is this? Oh, favorite number. Okay. Int, get int, standard character, output, enter an int, oops, enter an int, oops, int user int, value initialized to 0, standard character extraction to user int, return user int. That's self-explanatory. Inline for cheaper calls. Maybe? It still has to return. Well, no, because it still has a return. I don't think it is. I'm gonna say this and then inline could make this cheaper. Maybe. I don't think so now. Because it's a variable. Well, in this case, we're not even storing it. It's a temp variable. But we're returning to a temp variable, so we're copying here and we're copying here. It's the same as if we'd done it to a regular variable. An identified variable. Feels like inline isn't cheaper. I don't think inline would make this cheaper. Okay. And then or we could just say get fav int whatever. You just enter your favorite integer and enter your name. We could just store them and not use them, or we could just print it. Print it, go next, and then print get fav int. Ethan 5. And then, yeah. Something like that. Yeah, it's simple enough. For function parameters, they're basically local variables for functions, but they're the way that we pass a function a variable. So, I like local variables for functions. Well, actually they are. Are local variables within functions that are matched with arguments that are included within function calls. Those arguments, the values of those arguments are passed via copy assignment to the function parameters. This is how I can pass a function my name and have it use my name instead of having to define my name elsewhere, name globally, or in a names, well, yeah, globally, or in the function. Pragma once. His shorthand is apparently shorthand for. My shirt was folding in a weird way and it felt like something was crawling down large. If not defined, header file name. Apparently an easy way to do this. Define header file name h. Code, and if I say header guard. I'm not sure exactly the difference, but it should do the same thing and prevent a header file from being included multiple times within one file. Because if that macro, or if that preprocessor macro definition exists, it will not be included in the file because the code already exists. 6. Oh, 3 times it's in. Okay, that's easy. In main. Include live stream. Oops. Need standard character output, and we'll just do int triple int int to triple. Return 3 times int to triple. Standard character output triple 3. Oops. Int const expression int num is 3 num tripled is triple num. Cool. Stack frame. I don't know what a stack frame is. Because the call stack would be the specific function that we are in execution. If we're in a function that isn't main, at some point, it was, at least in these kind of regular programs, it was called, at some point it was called from main. Which means main was called first, and eventually it's going to return a value. But if we called something before it, it has to return a value first, or it has to finish first before main can finish. So if we call something, and then it calls something, and it calls something, this has to finish, then this has to finish, then this has to finish, and then finally we're back to main, and then this can finish. So the call stack is basically like the remaining functions that must finish executing before main. The chain of functions, the how far down into the function hole we have fallen, and we have to climb back the same way. We have to finish the function we just got into, and then finish the one we got into before that, and then before that, and before that, before that. Or, same way, if we build ourselves straight up in Minecraft, and I'm on main at ground floor, or I start on one block higher, and that's main. Yeah, or let's say I'm at 0. I'm on bedrock. There's bedrock ground at ground 0 here. It's a super flat world. And I build myself up. I call another function from main. And I call another function from that. And another function from that. I have to return from that. And then return from that. And then return from that. And then maybe I call another. And then I return. And then I call another and another. And then I return. And then I return. And then finally, main returns. The call stack is now empty. It's been popped off the stack. And then boom. I'm not sure what the stack frame is. Maybe it's the structure that contains the order storage of the call stack. The call stack is the way to describe what function we're in that must complete before the function, if the callee, and how it must finish before we can return to the caller, i.e., if we are 3 functions deep, because main called one, which called another, which called another, the second must return to the first, which returns, completes, to main, which finally returns, and we're done. Each function has been pushed onto and finally popped off the stack. Is the structure, or is the call frame, or is the stack frame way this info is stored? Not sure. I think laundry may have finished already. 30 minutes, it's pretty quick. And it's nice, dude. These tests, 100%, if you keep doing it, it's a great way to offset forgetting so far. Holy shit, dude. Procedural, or a procedural programming, it's just a language that only has functions. You just got statements and functions. Oh, no, it's still going. I hear the water going now. versus object-oriented programming with classes and objects, and you've got generic programming with templates. So I could picture, instead of a function that says get int, it's instead a function that says get something. And you input anything. You input a bool, it returns a bool. You input a string, it returns a string. You input an int, it returns an int. You input a long, it returns a long. You input a double, it returns a double. You input a float, it returns a float. Any of that shit, you return an unsigned int 16, returns that. So you don't even have to worry. The shit's just known. It's not inferred, it's just known. It takes it, examines what the shit is, and based on what it is, it returns that. Excuse me. So the functions have a way of determining what the input is and returning the proper input. So it's just generic. You have one generic function to return all values. So you just say get thing from the user, and you could use that to initiate a boolean or initialize a boolean, an integer, etc. And I got that yesterday just from having no fucking clue what procedural programming is. Didn't study it or anything. I just heard the answer here. Boom. So if it's wrong, GG. It makes sense. Give us code. What's the output? Excuse me. Okay, so there's, bro, what in the fuck? This program is cursed. Okay, so there's function foo that just outputs foo and then ends the line. Function bar that calls foo to output foo and end the line and then does bar. And in this case, we're just doing bar. So it's bar. So it says foo. So we call, main has been called. And then bar gets called. And then foo gets called. And foo outputs foo, and then returns the bar, and then bar outputs bar, and then returns the main. So it is foo, and then bar. The output is foo, then bar is foo, bar, because main calls bar, which main calls bar, which calls foo, which outputs foo, then returns to bar, then bar outputs bar, then returns to main, which then returns 0. Exit code 0. 9. During debugging, we can watch local variables, at least in BS22, which has an IDE. BS22 IDE UI. That's the UI. So I can have a breakpoint at that line, run the code, it then pauses at the breakpoint, and I can examine the value there, then step over and examine the value change. I could step all the way through to find the value. I could skip pieces of code in VS22, and again, same thing, use the watch value, or watch local variables feature. I've never even seen a WCare. Never seen a WCare T. It's not a white space, is it? It's not like an unsigned int. It's a, like, W. I'm trying to think of what W could stand for. A char that only holds white space, perhaps? This is apparently statically and strongly typed, meaning that it's a variable types are known at compile time and apparently unchangeable, and so static, and I'm not sure what the strong part is, but something like that. Unchangeable. It's important because choose the correct type. Behavior we're looking for depends on it. If I want accurate decimal, accurate summations without rounding, using ints is good. If I want decimal division, floats are better. Doubles is the play. If I'm extracting input to a variable, the variable needs to be of a type that the user can enter. So behavior dictates data type. 12. Enter a character and enter the ASCII value. Need standard character input and standard character output. We need get or enter, what is it? Enter character. Care care. Enter a character. Use a character. Value initialized to whatever, blank, 0, something like that. And then standard character input to extract to it. User character, return the user character. Oops. And then say convert int convert character to ASCII int. Yeah. Oh, is ASCII. That's cool. Interesting. All right, so we could say, and it gets passed a character, user character. Oh, I think laundry just finished. So we'll say ASCII ASCII code value. Value of user character is static cast to an int user character. Oops. Would. Okay, we could say convert. Well, oops. We could say. I went to Copilot. Whoops. Convert character. Get character. F. Something like that. Or we could have another function, a helper function that does it. So all this does is convert and print. Convert and print ASCII of G A 5. Okay. Let me swap my laundry to the dryer. Okay. Okay, doke. Oh, dang, I still have 5 more months ish. Oh, time passed pretty quick, huh? Oh, I started this like late April, but okay, I got 4 months. I got 120. Damn, that's it? 120 days of doing this. Whew, it's not much time before I start building shit. Still 4 whole months, though. Like, come on. It's a while. Alright, 13. Magic numbers are literal numbers. Or, well, yeah, literal numbers that aren't defined. We don't know what they are. We might, when we're making / using them, we can forget and have no clue why 37 is so important. If we instead created const expression int size of classroom, 37, then we'd know that 37, or we'd know everything we need about 37. But instead, magic numbers are ambiguous and muddle readability and muddle readability. Const expression guarantees that the value is known at the value / variable is known at compile time, which means compiler can perform more compile time optimizations, or at least is 100% likely to, compared to only having a chance to for non-const or just const qualified variables. Things we don't want to burden with creating, assigning at runtime, we should make const expression. If they aren't known at runtime, then it's fine to not do const expression. You can do const if possible, and if not, non-const. A constant for a number of hours in a day and how many minutes are in a day. Okay. Include IO stream, need standard character output, namespace, day, daytime info, concentration int, hours in day is 24, const expression int, minutes in hour is 60, and const expression int, minutes in day is assigned to be minutes in hour times hours in day. Standard character output. Yeah. Standard character output, or we could say I don't know, what would we want? We'd want we could just access these directly. Fuck it. Minutes in day. Daytime info, minutes in day. $14.40? Really? That's the answer? 60. Oh, yeah, 60 times 20, and then plus 240. 1200 plus 240. Makes sense. Wouldn't have expected that. Okie doker. Oops. No. How many questions are there? God damn. Okay, this is good. What is the result in 10.3? Well, if we're talking ints here, talking cold hard cash. Another 3? 3. The real answer is 3.333, whatever the fuck. 3.33 repeating. But 10 and 3 are ints. So we and ints drop the decimal. Don't have decimals. So 3 fits into 10 3 times, and ints don't care or report decimal. So we keep 3. 17. And operator works by returning true if the left and right operand are both true, and false if either are false. 18. True if its integer argument is even, false otherwise. True is even, so in main include IO stream, need standard character output. Bool is even, int test num. Okie doker, and we'll say if test num, we say, return test num remainder 2 is 0. That tells you if it's divisible by 2. What is it? Write a function that return. Oh, I could just do that. Okay, well, there it is. Boom. If remainder with 2 is 0, it's divisible by 2. And thus even. Are there any other numbers? to check. 0 is divisible by 2. That's fine. I think that's it. That's fine. Should be fine. Okay. 19. Variable shadowing is when we have, excuse me, a variable in one scope, but in block scope inside that, we have another variable of the same name, which is unique and valid and allowed, but the compiler might give a warning that we are shadowing the outside variable because calls to variables by default use the nearest one, or at least the internal, or at least the one defined within this scope. If we have variable x within the global scope, then define x in a function, we have to use operator, this guy, scope resolution operator, to explicitly call x from global scope, because calling x alone will default to the local variable we have. 20. Default linkage for non-const global variables, external linkage, known to the compile or known to the linker, and shares definitions with all other across global scope. Probably good to put in a namespace to reduce conflict chance. 21. Use a static variable to count how many times it has been called. Main, return, include IOStream, need standard character output, void, count, calls to this function. And so we'll say static int calls to this function. It is 0 by default, and that is static, so it is initialized or initialized to 0 upon first call only. Return or standard character output. Or, we increment them, and then can't tell if I have a tonsil stone or not. I think we would standard character output. This function has been called. Calls to this times yep, we can compile real quick. Oops, we don't. That's not a string literal. That is an identifier, so it's not cool. For in current num, we'll just start at 0. Current num is less than, or let's just say total or current print 0. Total prints, I like 1. Total prints 10, and then while current print is less than or equal to, so through total prints, increment current print, and then count calls to this function. Boom. Okie doker. Bop. Oh, motherfucker, dude. Write a function, not a damn program. Yeah, to count, not to return how many. What's the difference between break and loop? Break exits the nearest loop. The innermost loop that we are currently in. fully exits. So whatever statement occurs after, or if we're after, or if we complete a function, happens. The loop does not re-execute. The loop is done. Continue instead skips this iteration of the loop. For a for loop, if we continue, we skip the loop body, then the then the post code. What do we call it? What do we call the third part of a for loops like header thing, where it has variables we're defining, the condition to determine whether it should execute, the body should execute. Body is what that part is called. What is the third part called? Like the post body expression statement, because we're incrementing and then we're not semicoloning. Post body loop variable modifying part executes. So we just skipped that round slash iteration of the loop. We're still in the loop, unless of course the condition determining becomes false. 23 4 from 10 down to 1. Okie doker. For from 10 to 1 for current num starting at 10. Oops. Int current num starting at 10. Target num down to 0. While current num is greater than or equal to target num, because we're going down through 0. Nope, sorry, it's down to 1. Of course, it's fucking down to 1. While it's greater than or equal to, we decrement current num. And then, standard character output, current num. What's happening here? Oh, declaration? Oh, so 4 isn't even declared within... Oh. Yeah, so now it's cool. Okay, it was fine. Cool. I like idiomatic ones, yo. Ones that we can read easy peasy. I mean, sure, I... And then from I as 10, while 10 is greater than 0, like, is cool. I mean, maybe it probably makes the most sense. But I have to look at it and be like, oh, that's a loop. Compared to being like, current num, target num. I mean, I guess I have to figure out that it's a countdown anyways, but, I mean, maybe. I don't know. I like idiomatic. Maybe it's not the way. Maybe later on I swap and I'm just like, okay, I'm fluent enough in loops I can tell this is that. Write a program that asks the user to guess a number from 1 and 5 until they get it right. Holy, I need a random number, yo. Damn. Write a program that asks the user to guess a number between 1 and 5 until they get it right. Well, here we fucking go. Gotta remember some shit now. IO stream needs standard character input and standard character output. We need int get user int enter an int user int, initialize to 0, standard character extraction to user int, return user int. Cool. And then we need namespace random stuff. Okay, so we also need to include random. Need Mercy and Twister, or Mercy and Twister for and random device and steady. Oh, we also need in steady clock device for random nums. We also need include chrono. Need standard steady clock to seed random Mercy and Twister. And we also need and standard seed sequence for, or and seed sequence for random nums. Okie doke. So in this namespace, we could call this get number function, which seeds a Mercy and Twister and output shit. But it probably makes sense to just have one and seed it on at compile time. So we could have a static standard Mercy and Twister and just call them random num maker. Well, I guess doesn't even make sense to do this. Would it make sense to just have a function that yeah, I guess it can make sense, huh? This. Or would you have a function that creates it, or would you create them once? Guess you'd create them once. But that's the seed right there. So, do we want to create one like this? What do we want to return one? We could say make or return a standard Mercy and Twister. Get MT Mercy and Twister. Or we could call it get seeded Mercy and Twister. And then it has, we return that final one. So we need to seed it first. So we need a standard seed sequence. MT seed. And these initialized to be some things. Oh, we need a standard random device. And call them rand device. Okay. And we seed MT seed with standard, or standard steady clock. Oh, wait, hold on. Standard chrono? Steady clock? Why do we have to do, I have to do standard chrono to get to steady clock? Now time since last epoch. Max? No. Max? Oops. Max. The maximum time since the last moment where time was measured. That, and then rand device. What is this? Oh wait, we haven't casted this yet. Standard static cast to a standard Mersenne twister result type this whole guy. Hold. Wasn't that okay though? Are the parentheses kind of whack? This feels like it would be okay. It's initialized to be this guy for one of them, and then this guy, and then another guy. What if we just remove rand device? Let me just try this again and see what happens. Static cast. Do I need anything else? 2. Oh, I think. Well, yeah, I should be able to seed it with this because this goes into the Mersenne twister. This is just a list of numbers. Static cast 2, a standard Mersenne twister 937. Result type. What if I just did that? 4 is okay. Steady. Standard chrono. Steady clock. Can't do that. Dot now. Dot time since last epoch. Dot max. Max. What are you talking about? If we were here, it would be still cool. Oh, it's count. It's not max. Max is, I'm used to max from numeric limits for a stream size. Count is like the amount of time that has passed compared to max is like the I would think it would also be an integer, like the amount of time points that can be stored. Maybe it's so big that it's a different value, so it's like a long crazy thing. I think that might be it. It's just too large of a value. But then it should still be able to static cast. But maybe it's just unable to. This, and then rand device, rand device, rand device, oops, device, rand device, rand device. Is that 7? Yes. Hello? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 total. Oh wait, did I fuck it up? Yo. This needs to be the whole thing. Oh, and I included a fucking address in there, of course. Woohoo! Pop. KO. Store seed, or seed the cedar. Return standard Emerson Twister 97. That seeded using the empty seed. Return a seeded Emerson Twister. And so what is this? From 1 to 5 till they get it right. Ugh. Okie doke. And so we say void get guess game. Oops. Okay. And we say do we have it create a random number generator? Or do we just create one in the global? No, we could just do that, maybe. Does that work? So in this namespace, we have standard Emerson Twister 37. And it's changeable. And we can have it be static, so it's created once, and then apparently we can just keep reseeding him, so it's fine. So we just say it's static. Static, so it's created on program start instead of later. Created and seeded. Random num maker. Seed him with get seeded empty. Okie doker. And then we have int get random num return random num maker. I think that's it. I think that gets it. Okie doker. Let's just pause on this guy for a sec. What are we missing here? We're good? Okay. Nope, not yet. We don't have anything? What's happening? Return random maker. Oh, but it return static cast to an int? No, because I think that actually maybe is okay. What? What is happening here? Random num maker. Oh, this isn't the correct syntax. this, return that. So we need to do this. Oh, and we actually need to do this differently. We need a uniform int distribution. Get random num, int min range, int max range, standard. We'll create standard uniform int distribution. Get num in range, and it's min range to max range, and then return get num in range, which gives you an int instead of an unsigned int, so we won't get that error before. Get num in range from random num maker. Something happened. No. What happened? What? What? What you talking about? Oh, I think I have to static cast this to an int, maybe. Hold on. What if I just say return get num in range? Uh-oh. Oh! I don't do that. I pass it the random num maker. I have to pass it a Merson twister. Uniform in distributions. Take random number, make random number making objects as, or take a random number making object as a parameter. They do the calling, or the distribution does the call. Boom. Guess game. Constant. Guess target. And it's initialized to be random stuff. Get random num. What happened? Oh. Get random num. Oh. Well, in this case, it's just going to be that. So we can just say guess game. So we can say const expression int range min is 1. Const expression int range max is 5. Range min, range max. Cool. Okay, doke. We haven't used this guy yet. Maybe that's the issue. I don't even see it yet. What the fuck is the issue? Who knows? Probably here. Oh, it's const, but it's not referenced yet. That's why, because the other ones before it are referenced, but it's not referenced yet. So there's a const int. So this is a random number. Random num for player to guess. And we say do and in this case is actually get user guess. Guess a number. Something like that. Or we could have this and then have get user guess here. Like we could just not prompt. Guess so we could say we'll do this once. Enter a number between My number is between range min, and range max. Yes. Guess. We could have not a for loop, but we just have an infinite loop. Fuck it. Int guess count 0. Yo. Oh, didn't do a semicolon here. Whoops. Int guess count. We'll start it at 1. First guess is 1. Guess number. Guess count. Guess number 4. That. And then still haven't returned, or yeah, no while just yet. So we'll call it, or we could say that and then if, or we could just call it here. If, we'll call the guess. If it is the guess target, we need a few things. Could have a variable saying last guess. Int last guess. Last guess is now get user guess. This is value initialized to be 0, so it's fine. It's not going to match this. I'm not going to worry about the input validation to make sure they can only enter 1 to 5. Or min to max. I'll say if we do a while loop, we just say infinite while true, guess number, or guess number, guess count, 4 space, or that space, last guess. Or we can make it static, but last guess is now get user guess. If last guess is guess target, output, you win. And return. Nope. Try again. Okay, and we just say Play game. What is it? Guess game. Okay, so we say. Oh, what the fuck happened? Hold on. What's the issue? What's the fucking warning? 52. We're using this. We're using guess count. We're using last guess. What? Oh. Oh. Motherfucker, dude. I accidentally did. I'm getting tired. I accidentally did that instead of equivalence. There it is. It would have fucking assigned it. Okay. Yes. What the fuck is this shit? Yes. Bro. Oh my fucking god, VS crashed, bro. It's so annoying. I have to wait so long. It's not that bad, but still. Just a wimp. Boom. And if they put in a giant number, it's gonna fail because, well, it's gonna fail because the number is too big. It's gonna overflow, and it's going to fail, which is going to prevent future extraction. We're in a while true loop. That failed input, it's never going to get the too large number out. There's no clear and ignore to get it out. That's other shit. So this doesn't validate input, but here's that with a random number. A test case. 25, 26, 27. Asserts are used to identify, excuse me, bugs and limits of a program. After we find them by halting the program when the assert fails, we should use input validation to handle the error, and even when using asserts and keeping them for cases when the program should halt, we should still try to handle. That way, if the assert is disabled, that way, when the assert is removed due to release mode defining and debug, the error is still handled. Couple of test functions with boundary values. Testing boundary values. Identify what the range of values the function can perform properly for. Letting you validate input and handle errors for values that create errors. Maybe something like that. Test case? What is a test case? Seems like an individual test for a function or unit. Pass in one type of value or one specific value See what happens if errors arise that we need to handle. If it functions properly. Identify happy and sad paths. Boom. Do this. It's going to do its own thing. It's going to check, use the interwebs to properly analyze the responses. Yes. Because if we use standard character input, at the end it does leave that. And if you use standard character input again, well, standard character input will discard the buffer. But get line, will not. So we need to ignore that first. I think. It's done? Yeah, okay. I'll check the answers tomorrow. I gotta go to fucking bed. Ugh, excuse me. No. I have the answers now. Let's do it. I got time. Ay, ay, ay. Okay. Okay. For what? Oh, here we go. Oh, yeah. Another quiz, please. And they gave me the question. Okay, cool. All right. So I did all these. All right. Throws an error because it can't find the program's entry point. It seems like it can't find the definition to main. Yes. So without main, well, yeah, linking fails because there's no main. It needs main. So it's like saying that it is a function we're calling. Main is called somewhere. I don't know where, but it's called somewhere. It seems like it's called by the entry point, but it can't find the fucking door. Bro, there's paint on the wall, but there's no door here. How do I get in? That's the linker. I'm the linker in that case. GPP. Oh, CCCXX. Oh, hell no. Minor issue. Oh, well, yeah. After character input? Bruh, what you talking about? Oh, because we're using standard character input for the number, which leaves the end line. And then if we do get line, it takes whatever the fuck we have. So we have to clear that before. So, oh, you could do it either way. Oh, this is not, okay, so that's the issue that's fixed. But the alternative is to just clear that thing. So we could just standard peek or standard character input that peek and look, and then clear whatever it is, or just don't even look and don't do it. We could say if standard peek, because maybe it evaluates to true if there's a character, maybe. And then we just clear whatever the fuck's in there, because it means there's stuff in there. Maybe. Okay. Parameters are local variables initialized with the caller's arguments. Yes. Correct. It's compiler specific. Traditional header guards are more portable. Why are they more portable? I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly how Pragma once works, because it seems like it has to generate something specific in there, because if I include two header files and they both have Pragma once, yo, doesn't it have the shit? It seems like it has to automatically generate some unique thing, that way the program sees the unique preprocessor directives defined. Excuse me. Otherwise, this header file having Pragma once, it's got Pragma once already, bro. It's not going to include this other one, but that's not how it is. So it seems like it's just faster than doing a regular header guard, but fuck that. Turbo function, cool. A stack frame stores a function's local variables, parameters, and return address. A return address? So, like where the variables are returned from? A return address? Like the what does that even mean? So it's the address, so it's a location. To what? Like, where does that make sense? So I call a function, so the shit has to return there. Maybe the return address is the... If we say that return is a temporary... is taking that value and initializing a temporary variable with it, and then when we return back to the function that called it, the caller, we then copy that value from this to this guy, the one that called it. Maybe this guy is at the return address. I'm not sure. Right. Watch window. A character. Unicode characters. 1 byte for ASCII. Platform dependent. Unicode? Ain't nobody know who Uni is. Man. Alright, type prevents errors. Oh, yeah, overflow too, because if we choose an unsigned int and then we're doing decrementing, well, bro, we can't subtract 0 because we're going to get 4.3 fucking billion. GG. Int user care instead of cast int. Bro. What? Use int user care. What does that even mean? I can get an int? I don't know how to do that. Int, there's an operator, there's a parentheses operator function for int, the int keyword? I don't know about all that. Maybe you include a header file like ints or something. C standard int, and then it converts. Readability and maintainability with magic numbers. Compile time. Yes. Use of constant expression and namespaces. S. Truncate. Truncate. That's one way. Cut that shit off. Bop! Bop! Logical. Short circuits. Short circuit meaning if the left guy's false, boom, done. We don't have to evaluate the right guy. We're done immediately. Just like with an or in the left is true. True, done. Don't care if the other one's false. It's true. You sucked one dick, you're gay. Done. All right. Perfect. Bool is even return. But that's what I did, bro. That's what I did verbatim. You just put it on one line because you're a freak. Bop and then bop. Man, that's 10, not 5. Non-const have external linkage. Yes, static persists across the call, so we can call them and then call them again. It's the same value, and then whatever the hell changed. His value persists. He's 1. We call him again an increment. He increments 1. He doesn't go back to 0 to go to 1. He goes from 1 to 2. Break and continue. Break. Get out. Oh, that's perfect. I love that. That is amazing. The volume varies. I thought it did. Maybe I just wasn't expecting it. That's fantastic. And continue is go next. I don't know what the fuck the thing's called, though. The ending part. The third thing in the for loops. Header. Condition. Definitions. What are you? You're the, like the postfix thing. The post code body loop variable updater. Oh, God. This is not readable. Mine's better. I can't. Starting at 10, while it's greater than or equal to 1, decrement it, and then print it. Bro, you still have to read it the same way. There's no way you read that and you're instantly like, I mean, maybe you could just see in 10 to 1 and you know it's probably that. You're decrementing. Okay. But then you have to look at the body to see. But I guess you know that it's automatically a 10 loop count because it's just 10, 1, decrement. Oh, fuck. no way I'm using rand. You ain't catching me with that. It's got a lower periodicity, man. Means I run the shit over and over again, and it's less random because I get that number more often. No bueno. Doesn't feel as random. I don't know, something like that. Bug? Guess count? What is guess count? Man, I was printing the guess count. I thought I did. I forgot though. Damn. Oh wait, guess count. Where's he at? He is used. Oh, yo? While true, guess number. Oh, why is he always 1? Oh, you could just say he's used but never fucking this. So it's after, and after the guess. And if we try again, then increment guess count. Whoops. Number that's too big? Damn, that's quick, dude. 10,000 things just happened? That's fast. Wow. Let's call us to that got... Well, they're not calling the random number each time. I wonder what the time difference is between the 1 and the second dot. No, because it did that before it even got called. Never mind. I was thinking about how long it took to seed the Merson Twister, but that's not advanced for chapter 1 through 9. Bro, I learned this shit. You literally had me doing Rand in there. Rand? Oh, hell no. It's not RNG. It covered in chapter 8, bitch. Guess count is increment. Well, that's not even true. It was used but not incremented. Had a guess limit? No. So a test case is validating specific inputs against expected outputs. It's one test of this key, this lock. Does it go in? Huh? Boundary testing. Figure out the edge case bug. Let me open up the door and creep in really slow. Did it trigger the enemy's aggro? And then jump in there at light speed, 1,000,000 miles an hour, 9.8 times 10 to the fucking what? What is it? Or 9.0 times 10 to the 8? 9 times 10 to the 8? It's like 90, yeah, 90 million. 90 million miles an 90 million meters a second. 90 million meters per second. Oh wait, it's 9. Yo? No, bro, we're not talking about this. Yes. Boundary values. In test, hey, is the aggro still working? I test the min and the maximum. I test the edge cases, yo. Then the assert, we catch the errors. Bonus. The fuck is that? What was the bonus? Did I miss the bonus? God damn it. I did. It's too late. I gotta go to bed. Fuck it.